this has kind of gotten a lot of people in a tizzy because a lot of people are
What?
like a tizzy. It means like it's caused an uproar. It's caused a stir.
I
don't know.
This is like prohibition era like speak.
I don't know. Is that not people don't say?
I have never heard that word in my life.
Okay, it's
been
a word.
on the tizzy.
Yeah, you got all in a tizzy.
No, I have never heard of that. Maybe I'm just.
Am I making this up? No,
I-
you're gaslighting me. It's real.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just Israel right now, just gaslighting the fuck out of you.
Yeah, highly excited, distracted, state of mind.
Where does it come from? Where's
Like flustered.
Oh,
like the etymology of it.
yeah.
Let's see. Let me go
It
to
must
the
be like 20s or 30s or something like that.
Let me go to the etymology dictionary.
Declared
1922.
1922. I called it
You
20s
called
or
it?
30s.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Prohibition era.
Yeah, American
God
English
damn, I'm
colloquial,
good.
a word of.
Before we get to the video, please like, comment, subscribe, share it to that uncle who's a communist. And if he isn't, he will be.
Don't forget to follow us on Patreon at patreon.com/revolutionaryrhetoric. And Revolutionary Rhetoric is an affiliate of the Anti-Capitalist Podcast Network.
All right, let's get to the video. Episode number 42. Oh my god, man.
42.
I'm really losing track.
42.
These plants are beautiful.
Thanks, man.
You grow them yourself?
I bought them myself.
You bought them yourself?
I ordered them myself. These sweet fake plants.
Wow. Hey.
Yeah, I was gonna put a couple in my.
They're real.
They're
Okay.
real. The plants out. Did you notice I have like vines and like succulents out front now?
No, I didn't.
As you walk up to my front porch, I have those are real, and I have a little water, my cute little watering can. I've been watering those,
Nice.
but these are plants. I was gonna
dox yourself. People will be looking for succulents.
looking for succulents. Yeah, in Seattle, nobody has fresh vegetation in Seattle. I was considering bringing a couple of these to my classroom, but I kind of like the way I was gonna do like 2 and 2 or something.
Oh, this looks great, man.
This looks pretty cool. Yeah.
This one's kind of long, but
yeah, they're all like viney. I thought some of them were gonna be more like just regular plants, but
yeah.
Whatever. Anyway,
Anyways.
episode 42.
Episode 42.
Yeah, pretty cool. How you doing? I know you got a busy week.
Dude, it's been really busy this week. I'm kind of like packed. So this episode is being filmed on a Thursday, right?
No, today's Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday. That is a testament to how ridiculous my week has been. Earlier today is when I actually finished and uploaded the last episode. And so now we're filming the same day, and then tomorrow morning I need to edit everything and put everything out. So
Yeah, because you're just gone for the next few days, right?
it's ridiculous. But we're getting the episode out to you. We're getting it out. Wait, like we're not. I'm happy that we haven't like.
We haven't really missed an episode.
I think.
Well, we missed a couple.
But that's like we just couldn't. There's
yeah,
no way we
really
could work
try.
around it.
If we have to like do it remote, we do it remote. But we bend over backwards for you assholes. So so give us a like and share and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and tell your friends if you're listening on audio.
Anyways, we have a bunch of little stories here for you.
Yeah,
probably good like maybe 5.
I think 1, 2, 3. Yeah, more than like 10.
Yeah,
or I don't know, 9. I can't count. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Point is we got
5 and 10.
somewhere between more than 1, less than 20.
Ooh.
Yeah. A bunch of little things are happening. I mean, kind of like, I don't know. What do you want to start with? Pick one.
Okay. How about let's lead with RFK.
Oh my God.
These little
The fucking RFK freaks. Okay, so 2 episodes ago, we talked a lot of shit about RFK and his weird snake ads. That was 2 episodes
Oh my
ago,
God.
right?
I think I put a great fucking title. You made a great fucking thumbnail.
Yeah.
We baited the fuck out of these RFK little nitwits.
And these weird little RFK freaks
Oh my God.
who just came out of nowhere. And like we post a lot of like random videos. We post our full-length episodes, and then we'll cut those full-length episodes into like between 2 and 5 or whatever, like shorter videos, depending on how many stories we talk about, depending on how much is like worth its own little video. And we cut out a little RFK video. It was like, I don't know, a few minutes long, and we were just basically just clowning on RFK because he's a clown. And unbeknownst to us, the fucking RFK freak fandom just like they rioted. Like, how many comments are on that video now?
I think it's something like over 100 comments.
Yeah, like,
but it has 1.4K views. So
yeah, which is a lot for us. Like our stories. I mean, a lot of our videos. We're a small channel. We have like 200 something subscribers. And yeah, it's just I'm gonna just pull up this video real quick. Where is it? This one here. Yeah. 1.6K views. Fine, whatever. We're a small channel. I'll take it.
That's not bad, but like,
yeah,
here's the
but
thing.
almost 100 comments of just like weird.
my god.
RFK ghouls that are just coming to the defense of RFK.
I do have to say I had to delete like 10 to 12 of them.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because so I don't know if you guys know, but like with my rule, I basically like you can say what you want towards us. That's not a big deal. Criticism, mockery. Okay, that's fine. It's
Sure.
fucking YouTube. It's the internet. Like that's
We're
what it's
leftists
there
online.
for.
We're used to
Go
getting
for
the
it.
hate.
I don't
yeah.
give a fuck. But like people will start saying homophobic shit, Islamic phobic shit. They'll start using the R word, and those I just don't tolerate
fair
that
enough.
type of
That's good.
discrimination.
I think that's a good rule.
And I just do. But if you want to call us ignorant or a pathetic podcast, we'll leave those up, man. We're not. I'm not.
Oh yeah.
I'm not deleting.
There's literally
shit.
dozens of them here,
But
and it's
if you
just
say
so great.
homophobic shit and stuff like that, your comment will not be left up on our videos.
Yeah, but it's just the amount of people. Like I don't know. Maybe RFK has more fans than I thought of, or than I thought. But I don't know, man.
No. I think every single RFK fan somehow found our video. It must have been like circling like an.
Anyway.
But then again, we put RFK in the title. We said the most brilliant political advertisement. You put like a great thumbnail, and all the RFKs are like, "Oh my god, I gotta see our daddy RFK."
Yeah,
clicks on the video, and then we totally just trashed the man.
So we wanted to kind of circle back and we have another RFK gem for you this week of these. These RFK freaks and their King Freak RFK Jr. can will come hit us again in the comments. But the story broke about RFK was the mystery solved of the case of the dead bear in Central Park from 10 years ago. I guess like a couple bicyclists or runners or something found a dead bear in Central Park like in 2014, like 10 years ago. And I guess it was like a mystery because no one ever knew because bears aren't indigenous to Central Park. There shouldn't be a bear in Central Park.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it was kind of this mystery, whatever. And I guess it was released like earlier this week. It was RFK was talking to Roseanne Barr, and I guess he revealed that it was him. He put it there as like a prank. And I was kind of reading the story.
So what Roseanne Barr?
Yeah, I don't know. She's she's like a weird Trumper, like anti-vax, like MAGA.
I know, but
person now.
Take the man seriously when you're having conversations.
Roseanne
Barr.
Yeah, maybe she's an RFK or not a Trumper. I don't know. I don't follow Roseanne Barr's politics.
Shit, man.
But yeah, fair enough. But the point. Oh yeah, and that was another thing. All these freaks were talking about was about how like we're deluded thinking that RFK is going to pull votes from Trump. Like he's the most progressive whatever candidate we've ever seen. He's gonna pull votes from Harris, and I'm like, what are you smoking?
Stupid, dude.
Like,
you
no,
are
dude.
legitimately stupid. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, and maybe there are some. Maybe there are enough like extreme anti-vaxxer like yoga crystal mommies that like.
But they're all stuck in their own political bubble.
Yeah,
man.
if that's like their one voting, like if that's their one issue is like anti-vax, and then they'll side for RFK where they normally would have voted Harris. So like, sure, maybe there's a few, but like. Nah, man, you're tripping. Anyway, back to the Central Park bear caper. I guess he didn't hit it. I think he found it dead on the road or something, and he had to get the bear carcass out of his trunk. And he was in New York, so him and some friends, and he claims he wasn't drunk, but they were, and they thought it'd be funny if they just like left it in Central Park or whatever. But there's a photo apparently circulating of him like with his fingers in the bear's mouth and like. He's got blood all over him, and he's just a fucking weird guy. He's a weird little ghoul, and his fans are weird little ghouls, and they're all freaks.
Always touching animals, bro.
Yeah,
always touching animals. Like I did.
And I could have like butchered some of that story. I don't really care enough to read like
RFK
I didn't check multiple like stories. I just read one AP about it, and I was just like, okay, whatever. Mostly, I just wanted to talk about like in the past 2 weeks the amount of like blow up we've gotten because we like talked a little bit of shit about RFK. So we wanted to continue a weekly segment of just whatever. What the fuck is like? It'll just be like an update of RFK. What is that weird little ghoul up to now? Anyway, that's it. That's all I want to talk about RFK. I just thought it was very funny.
Also, but here's the. Who goes and picks up a dead bear carcass and puts it in their car? Who puts that in their car?
I don't know. Like there's an argument.
Like just in my head, I'm thinking, how am I going to clean up all the bear feces, the maggots, all of that?
There's an argument to be made where like if I'm an altruistic like environmentalist and if I'm driving down and I see like a big dead bear on the side of the road or something, I would stop and maybe call park rangers or something. And like there are services that come and do that. I would not then just go pick up a dead animal and put it in my trunk. Like that's kind of unhinged
gross.
Behavior.
It's weird.
It's just unhinged behavior.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's just.
If anything, if you want to be environmentally, like subjective and make sure to help out in whatever way that you can, you could like take the bear and throw it into like the side of the ditch or the woods.
Yeah,
let it decompose,
let
animals
pick
eat
at it or whatever. Yeah,
okay,
I mean, there's a lot of options you could have done other than putting it in your trunk. And I don't know, maybe there's a reason for it, and I just didn't read it. But
your future president was driving drunk. Also, like, if we're gonna talk about like your, president-elect having morals and shit like that. This guy was driving drunk.
He claims he wasn't drunk and his friends were, but come on.
Yeah, my friends were drunk and I wasn't. Who the fuck ever has drunk friends?
You were tying one on. It's fine. You can admit it.
Anyway,
that's enough RFK news. I just wanted a weekly update with RFK. Another quick story. Cori Bush lost her primary to like an AIPAC, like Zionist, pro Israel Democrat, like a mainstream kind of party line Dem. Yeah. And not like, I mean, whatever. Cori Bush is part of the squad. She was fairly progressive. She was actually one of like the pretty progressive members. Like she wasn't like as based as Rashida Tlaib, but she was pretty cool. I didn't hate Cori Bush.
Also, for reference, a lot of people don't know who like the squad is and stuff like that.
Well, it's like AOC, Rashida Tlaib.
It was actually from an organization called the Justice Democrats.
Yeah.
That was set up by like a bunch of people, 4 or 5 people. One of them being Kyle Klinsky, the guy that I watched.
Yeah.
And the whole point was to basically have progressives, SOC Dems, DSA members infiltrate the Democratic Party and slowly turn it into a leftist actual political party.
But the opposite happened, where they all kind of slowly became
and
mainstream Zionist Dems. Yeah.
Yeah, and now AOC, which is part of the squad.
The squad. Yeah, the squad's pretty much broken up now. They're all just Dems. They're all just like Nancy Pelosi Dems. I mean, like of varying degrees. Rashida Tlaib is still pretty leftist.
Yeah.
Cori Bush was still pretty leftish.
Ilhan Omar is not that bad.
Ilhan Omar was pretty cool. But it's mostly AOC, and I think it's I don't know. I don't know if AOC is any more or less leftist than the rest of them are. I think she just gets more like screen time than they do.
Yeah.
Oh, who else were you saying?
Ayanna Pressley.
Yeah.
But AOC, honestly, originally to me, AOC was a fucking fed. Like,
she thinks she's just a plant.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Oh god, where is that tinfoil hat?
Oh my god, we gotta get it. I was out of foil the last time we talked about that.
Yeah.
I thought about making one, but I actually was out of foil. Then I smoked a little pork. I smoked a little. On my smoker, I had a barbecue and I made a bunch of wings and pork, and I had to go buy a bunch of foil, so I have foil now. So I'll make.
Gotta make that conspiracy hat. Anyways, imaginary conspiracy hat on. Yeah, the dude. She's like straight CIA.
Yeah.
Right. Like in my opinion, because she immediately folded and she tried to drag us along with her, and everybody instead of all of these politicians or people that weren't politicians that are now politicians from the squad, they slowly became more and more conservative and actually started being more right-leaning. Not that they are right-leaning, but you get my point. They started sucking up to Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, like
the major portion of leftists actually went from SOC Dems, Democratic Socialists to fucking commies or like real like hardcore socialists. So it kind of gives you an idea of like, I don't know if we really trust these people, because if they were part of the majority of the left who actually moved farther left, they would have came with us.
Right.
But they didn't.
No, I mean, it's we talked about this 2 weeks ago. It's just, I mean, or I don't know, a few weeks ago, whenever it was, we talked about this. Is like, I think it's just that kind of corrupting influence of being in America's politics.
Correct.
The same thing happened to Kristen Sinema. The same thing happens to all politicians. They start out idealistic and leftist, and then they kind of, or left-ish, I should say, and then they just get, for what is the stat? It's like from the moment you're sworn in as a congressman, you have to raise like $20,000 a day or something to get reelected. Like, so it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, or $2,000 a day or something. I forget the actual number. Whatever the number is, it's exorbitant and insane. Like so like, it's just basically, the job is fundraising. Like the job is not leading or like representing your constituents or leading the country or being any kind of like representative leader for democracy. The job is like being a fundraising shill. So like you're hustling, you're making handshake deals. You're like to be reelected every 2 years. You have to raise just an insane amount of money. So like, and that's just the reality of like our pay for play elections. It's not necessarily their fault. It's like this, Citizens United, like unlimited amount of money that campaigns can garner. But that's a whole separate conversation. So the point is that all politicians they succumb to it. And I think that's a large part of it, is because like, if you want to remain a politician, you need money. And if you want the most money, you have to compromise, and I think you compromise your ideals and you compromise your values over time.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain ways that we could like kind of edge that mindset out of politics by I don't know, ranked choice voting.
There's a lot of ways. I mean, like I think the biggest way is to just like overturn Citizens United and like.
Oh, 100%. I mean that's but realistically.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean that's not going to happen under the current Supreme Court.
I think Maine has ranked choice voting.
Yeah, Maine does, and I think Nebraska does. There's 2 states, I think.
That.
Or maybe it's just a couple counties in each of those states. It's not the whole state, I don't think. I don't know. I don't live in other states.
I do like the idea of ranked choice voting, though. Like,
I do too.
I'm a really big proponent of it.
I did? Okay, I am. let me just preface that I am a proponent of ranked choice voting. However, there are huge flaws in ranked choice voting, and like you could end up with, because of the way like the voting calculations and like second choices work, you can end up with somebody that you really don't want. Like, I don't know. It doesn't, like, we don't need to go into like the math of it, but like there's just, I did ranked choice voting when I was a student government teacher, and like I had like our student body government chosen by ranked choice, because I was like, I wanted to do that because I could make the rules and I wanted to see it in action, and it was just more convoluted, and I can see how it's much more difficult with a country of like 330 million people. That'd be very difficult, but it would be, you know, district by district. But overall, I think the way we do it isn't good. Yeah. So like, I'll take anything.
My whole point with it is the Democrats cannot say anymore that you're giving away your vote.
Sure.
To you know, Trump or whatever. If there's ranked choice voting, if my first doesn't go in, my second would be, I don't know, fucking the Green Party.
I guess Jill Stein. Yeah. So that'd be Claudia Carino, then Jill Stein.
Kamala Harris over Trump.
Yeah.
So eventually, if none of the people that I want go through, they eventually goes to Kamala Harris.
But my thought is, would you rank Harris and Trump, or would you just leave it blank after Jill Stein?
I think it automatically has to.
It has to. Okay.
You have to put Trump as the last one.
Okay.
But if that makes any sense.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's something to explore. I think anything is something to explore other than the electoral system we have for our national elections, at least. Local elections are a different story. Anyway, that's the Cori Bush. There's not a whole lot to say there. It's just kind of a bummer that, you know, the Democrat, it just speaks to this wider problem of the Democratic Party in general, just creeping to the right, just creeping more and more towards a pro-Israel, like, conservative standpoint. So anyway, next one's kind of a big one. Harris picks Walz, Tim Walz of Minnesota. Not Waltz, Walz. Yeah, Waltz. Tim Walz.
Well, technically, if we're gonna read it from the original place it was from, which would have either been like Germany, Poland or maybe, Austria, it would have been Waltz.
Waltz, yeah. Anyway, Harris picks Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota.
Paul Walz.
Paul. You know, I like Paul Wall.
Paul Wall's kind of cool.
Yeah, he's a Texas rapper. Yeah. I like Paul Wall.
Wow.
He's still rapping. He was on. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I know what you're about to say.
Okay. Anyway. Yeah, this has kind of gotten a lot of people in a tizzy, because a lot of people are like a tizzy. It means like it's caused an uproar. It's caused a stir.
I don't know. This is like prohibition era like speak.
I don't know. Is that not, people don't say?
I have never heard that word in my life.
Okay, it's a word.
On the tizzy.
Yeah, you get all in a tizzy.
No, I have never heard of that. Maybe I'm just.
Am I making this up? No, you're gaslighting me. It's real.
Yeah, I'm just Israel right now, just gaslighting the fuck out of you.
Yeah, highly excited, distracted, state of mind.
Where does it come from? Where's
like flustered?
Like
the etymology of it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me go to the
like 20s or 30s or something like that.
Let me go to the etymology dictionary.
While he's doing that,
while you do that, while I do this, you talk about Tim Walz's record.
Walz, I actually don't know too much about him. Minnesota governor. From what I remember, he had like declared
1922.
1922. I called it.
You
20s
called
it? 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Prohibition era.
Yeah, American English colloquial, a word of uncertain origin, perhaps related to slang. Tizzy, which is sixpence piece. Corruption, a name for the coin. Yada yada. Yeah, doesn't matter.
I got it though. From what I understand about Walz, is that he did he declare martial law?
Yeah, he did during the
BLM.
During the George Floyd era, that summer of 2020, he declared. Yeah, like so
which is not a good look.
Let's back it up a second. So yeah, he's done a lot. He gutted a bill that would like give nurses more power. I forget. I saw this is when we go into these stories half cocked, but like he's on paper very progressive. He's been a teacher most of his life.
China.
Yeah, he's been a teacher I think for a lot of his life. He's like considered pretty progressive as far as like he's a pretty liberal Democrat, pretty progressive as far as Democrats go. And so I think that's kind of why he's picked, is kind of to counterbalance the like right-wing cop like persona that Harris has. You have this kind of like fuzzy teddy bear uncle, like teacher, kind of like progressive nice guy, and he's like, you know, everyone loves him. He's been really great to Minnesota in terms of like the teachers union. He's very pro-choice. He's got a lot of like, he ticks a lot of progressive boxes, But if you peel back the surface a little bit, he's like gutted a lot of bills that would help a lot of these programs. He's the one who called in the National Guard to enact martial law during the BLM protests of the 1920s, 2020. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, yes, he's more progressive, just like Cori Bush is more progressive than her primary challenger. Tim Walz is more progressive than I think anybody else that was on the short list. Certainly more so than like Mark Kelly or Newsom. Yeah, any of the other people that were on that short list. Shapiro, yeah, Shapiro was like a pretty hardcore like Zionist who like was pretty awful. There was a story honestly, that he helped cover up a murder. This is the best pick that she could have done. We just want to make it clear that like we're not like standing for Tim Walz or Kamala Harris for what that's worth.
I also like I think we want to go a little bit into this while we're already here. Is what was the term that you used earlier that had
coconut pilled?
Yes, this is getting people coconut pilled.
Yeah, so like, well, we were talking shortly before recording of like a lot of leftists and this Harris fiasco as of like 3 weeks ago or whatever is causing kind of like a rift among left-ish people, and I keep saying left-ish because I don't want to say leftist, because leftists to me has a connotation of being anti-capitalist. And you can't be an anti-capitalist and support Harris Walz, that ticket. So like socialists and communists don't support Harris Walz for a number of reasons. Capitalism and their economic philosophy chief among them, but also their commitment and sustaining of the genocide in Palestine. So like, you know, Harris and Walz are pro genocide. They're going to continue to sustain and commit money and weapons and munitions to this genocide. So we're not going to support them. And it's pretty much that simple. I think we're both pretty vocal about we're supporting Karina Garcia and Claudia de la Cruz of the PSL party. That's who we're voting for in the national election come November. We're not supporting Harris and Walz because they don't share our ideals, and that's kind of what the whole voting thing is. You vote the person that shares most closely your ideals. And so this pick, and Walz has now kind of further defined that. It was started with Harris, and now it's being further defined by this progressive kind of candidate, Walz, this progressive VP pick, of kind of separating real leftists from like the fair weather kind of leftists, right? Everybody had coconuts,
Dems.
These Soch Dems or whatever, these people that had like coconuts and the Palestinian flag and watermelons and the coconut flags in their Twitter bios, and they were kind of pro-Palestine. They were kind of they were pretty vocal about not supporting Biden. And then when Harris comes in, they immediately fall in line, and now they're like, we got to support Harris. So the vote for third party. Yeah, a vote for third party is a vote for Trump. That now these are now blue no matter who people. When 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago they were like anti-Biden, pro-Palestine people. And so it's just kind of, this has done a really good job of separating out like who was actually truly pro-Palestine, anti-capitalist, and like anti-genocide, and who was only doing it for internet clout. And I think that this has kind of done a really good job of separating that, and it's clear who our friends are and who our friends aren't. Yeah. Now that the dust has settled.
Exactly. And that, my friends, is what you call coconut pill.
And then now these leftists have been coconut pilled. Yeah, they've been coconut pilled, and now they're all like, they're jumping on the Harris train, and like, they're not. I'm not a blue no matter who person, but a vote for Stein is a vote for Trump.
Yeah,
it's
we
like,
can't put
that's
Trump
fucking,
in there.
Yeah, that's blue no matter who, dude. Like you're back to the same old bullshit Democrat talking points about harm reduction, about like, just give us 4 years and we'll push them left or whatever. No, dude. You've been coconut pilled.
I morally just can't vote.
Yeah.
For a party that is pro-Israel.
Yeah, I'm not going to support.
That is my fucking red line.
And like somebody on the internet was saying, like, well, what good does it do? Like, how does voting for Stein or Garcia de la Cruz ticket help the Palestinians? And it's like, well, it might not, but also me choosing Fruit Loops instead of Cinnamon Toast Crunch doesn't help Palestinians, but it also doesn't hurt them. So like, voting for Claudia and Karina may not help the Palestinians, but it doesn't hurt them. But voting for Harris does hurt them, and
what
so like that's actual harm reduction.
Yeah. What I do have to say though is the more people that do vote for third parties like Green Party or PSL, they will have larger national recognition.
Yeah.
Yes, we cannot immediately stop, but my vote for PSL won't stop fucking bombs being sent into Gaza. Excuse me. But what it will do is allow for a larger coalition and a larger exposure to other Americans that these other parties exist.
Yeah.
And through that, maybe in 4 years we can do something about Israel. Maybe that in 4 years.
It also sends a very like powerful and like important message in states like Washington or California that Democrats have a lock on, where they've won by 70, 60, 70, 80% in the past, and now they're only winning by 55% because there's so many leftists in Washington and Seattle that like vote for Claudia de la Cruz and Karina Garcia, and it's like, holy shit, we barely won Washington. That state should be like an 80% lock.
Yeah, 100%.
And so if we can get out the vote for these people that are not not these mainline Democrats, that really sends a powerful message. It's like, holy shit, we are not as stable as we thought we were. So yeah, because obviously Harris is going to win Washington. We live in Seattle, Washington. Harris Walt's ticket is going to fucking crush in Washington because it's one of the bluest states. So us voting, and it's also a privilege for us to say that we can vote for Karina and Claudia, because like, you know, it doesn't really matter. Harris is going to win this state by whatever percentage points. But if she wins it by 10% less than Biden did in 2020, or you know, or then, you know, Clinton won it in 2016 or whatever, that sends a pretty powerful message. And I think that is important. I think it is kind of performative on the one hand, where it doesn't actually get actual change, but it maybe opens their eyes and be like, oh, these things aren't a lock. You have to kind of listen to leftists when you say like, oh, you know, we don't want we don't want our bombs going to Palestine. We can make this difficult for you.
Yeah, but when you come to performance doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah.
Performance also is basically like an exhibition.
Yeah.
Performance, you put a performance out and people listen.
Yeah.
People watch. And maybe the performance might, over time, maybe it's not gonna be in 4 years, but maybe in 16
but
years.
maybe
the Democratic Party might be overturned by some sort of larger party.
Yeah, and I mean, like, most Western countries have multiple parties, and
exactly.
like, you know, like France and England and all of these like Western capitalist countries have multiple parties that all get like, you know, it's not
10%.
It's not 50% each for two or 49% each for two and then 1% for the other couple. It's, you know, it's 10 ways.
Was it like 2021 or 2022? Germany had like 10%. 10% of the Germany's votes came from the Communist Party.
Yeah, and like that was the French elections, like a not insignificant chunk, like 7% of them were communists. Exactly. So it's like, this is how you get there. We want that. If you actually care about democracy, if you actually care about the will of the people being represented equally and equitably across like the political spectrum, instead of just one of two capitalist classes, this is how you do that. You vote for parties like PSL or Jill Stein and get that. Yeah. It may not move the needle immediately, but it does move the needle, and that's more than you're doing.
Yeah.
Than just bending to the status quo, than just supporting Harris carte blanche, you know?
At the end of the day, revolution is not just gonna come.
Yeah.
Right? Revolution is something that is like an extreme measure that happens when no other choice can be made. But until then, we'll have to play their political game.
Yeah.
But once the political game is over, it's over. Like, that's when you actually pick up your whatever weapon and start a revolution.
But there is the moral choice in the meantime of not supporting people that support genocide.
Correct.
That's the line. It's a easy. I don't support people that support genocide. I don't support genocidists. I don't think that's a word. But
yeah. The Democratic Party doesn't own you. The Republican Party doesn't own you. They have to convince you. And they have to give you a reason why to vote for them. And
also, not for nothing, but like,
it's empowering to not
be beholden to them. Yeah. Also, like, they don't really share your interests at all, right? Like, climate change, Democrats have like no real solution to climate change. And that is more nuanced than it sounds, because they are pro-capitalist, and like 70% of all emissions in the world are produced by like the same handful of countries. The same handful of companies. And the Democratic Party takes donations from those companies, so they're not actually going to do anything like meaningful to, like, you know, you can ban all the plastic straws you want, but like that doesn't make Amazon's factories pollute less. So like,
yeah, there's an interest in conflict, conflict of interest.
Yeah, exactly. So like the same, and we talked about this a lot with like abortion care, of like this idea of like a subscription service model, which is what democratic politics is. But it's more sinister than that if you actually start peeling it back, of like where their money comes from compared to what your ideals are. So if you support climate change, well, Democrats don't really. You support like, you know, bodily autonomy and healthcare. Well, Democrats really don't. So like, I don't know. At the end of the day, we beat the dead horse, but yeah.
Yeah, but if they did support something like autonomy, they say they support, you know, women's bodily autonomy. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, bodily autonomy.
Bodily autonomy. But at the end of the day, when they're like, "Oh, vote for us so abortion doesn't become illegal," except it did under Joe Biden. They literally the Roe v. Wade was literally practically abolished under Joe Biden, and now they're telling us vote for us so we can bring you back. I'm like, you're still in office. Like, just do it now. Like, what are you doing? Make an executive order. Do something. You can.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's crazy. It's just crazy because like this is what Trump did. Trump like signed hella executive orders. He got his will. He on the what he wanted. He got it done when he was in office because that's a power the president have. And just Biden didn't do that, and it's whatever. I mean, that's a whole other conversation. But like the counter argument there is that like the next president could just reverse any of those.
Yeah.
But like, so what? So like for the 4 years you're in, you can help those people for 4 straight years. Like. It may get overturned when the next guy does it, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it now. Because maybe you win the next time.
But here's the thing: if you have an idea, and you've had it for 4 years during your term, and if the idea works, nobody wants that reversed.
Yeah.
The people would go crazy. Imagine you get free healthcare for 4 years.
Yeah.
Right. Free healthcare, universal healthcare. Obviously, healthcare isn't free. Blah blah blah. Yes.
Yeah, but universal healthcare for 4 years. Yeah.
Yes. After 4 years, if you went back to private healthcare, people would riot.
Yeah.
Are you insane?
So like that's if Harris does get nominated, or excuse me, does get the election, that's what they could do that on day one. Just sign an executive order, boom, nationalize, Allstate and Farmers, whatever, right?
Yeah,
I don't know the Blue Cross Blue Shield, those are car insurance.
Allstate,
but my point is that you can nationalize the healthcare industry, the healthcare insurance industry, and so provide socialized healthcare. I was looking it up. I was talking to a coworker, not that recently, not that long ago, about like because I was kind of railing against how America is like the only like modernized country that doesn't have universal healthcare, and I was like almost right. There's only a handful of countries of developed countries in the world that don't have modernized healthcare, and America's on that list, and the only other countries on that list,
or right, Burma.
I don't think so. No, but I don't think they were on that list. The only countries on that list were like countries that we bombed into oblivion, like Yemen. It didn't have it. Yeah, okay, Afghanistan doesn't have socialized healthcare because like there is no medical infrastructure. There is, but like it's not very well developed because we bombed the shit out of it. It's only a handful of countries in the Middle East, and then like a couple of South Africa, which isn't surprising, and then a couple of Eastern African countries that I think are also just kind of like relatively impoverished and like have dealt with American intervention. So
basically because of colonialism and us just basically drying
imperialism and
dry.
Intervention. Yeah. Those are the only countries that don't have socialized healthcare. It's such a universally established, like, obviously you should have healthcare. Like every developed country in the world has universal healthcare except for America.
Yeah, you ever seen those videos where British people get asked, how much do you think Americans pay for?
Yeah, they're like, $20.
An ambulance, an EpiPen, they're like $20.
Yeah,
no, it's like
$8,000. Yeah, I took it. I had to get an ambulance once. It was like $5,000. I was like paying it off until like a couple of years ago. I like it went into collections. Yeah.
Just at that point, it's just like I'm calling an Uber.
Yeah.
And I'm
you hear those stories all the time of people that are injured and they call an Uber because it's like I can't afford an ambulance.
Even if I'm fucking bleeding, if I'm bleeding out, I'm like, brother, I will give you $1,000 to have somebody dry clean these fucking seats. Take me for $50 to the fucking to the hospital. It's 5 times cheaper. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna move on. That's Harris. That's the whole Harris. That was That was a rant about Harris and the Democratic Party in general. I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm just gonna let my dogs in.
Yeah. So Adin Ross is a streamer. He is a grifter. He streams on.
What are we talking? Like a MAGA communist guy, or is this like a right wing guy?
No. He's not political at all. He does. Okay, this is explain exactly who Adin Ross is. He went to Romania to have an interview with Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate got up and left to go grab something. He got on his knees and sniffed the guy's seat.
Adin did his classic performative suspect humor.
I don't know why I did that, by the way. I would never do that now. See, like, I did change because, bro, that's disgusting, dude. Adin, why would you ever sniff a grown man? Like, bro, I would never do that ever again. I put on my life.
What?
Yes. You heard me.
Like, actually?
Yes.
It's weird. Why would he do that?
I don't know. But
Hold on.
He's not very bright at all. He doesn't know anything about politics. But he's trying to grift to the Republicans because he doesn't stream on Twitch or YouTube. He streams on, what's that one?
Rumble?
No.
So he's wearing a Make America Great Again hat. So he's like...
It's called Kick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He's on Kick. And because he's said stupid shit on Twitch, I believe he got kicked off. He showed pornography. I can't remember if it was on purpose or an accident on a stream on Kick. There's children in his stream, as always. You'd never know if there's who's. But Kick is super open about that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So, anyways, and Hassan used to be friends with him. Tried to convince him to not look at things a certain way, but the grift was too.
The grift's too strong, man.
It was too strong. It was so,
Power
these
of the
people
grift.
are so easily to manipulate. And so that's what he did. He just
They
took.
also make more money.
Yeah.
It's way more profitable to be a liar and a right wing shill.
And the fact that he got Trump on his fucking Kick stream, I don't know how the fuck he did that, but
Yeah,
the fact that he got it there and the guy knows nothing about.
Yeah, there's no real highlights here. Although we'll say there's a David Pakman video that just says multiple crimes committed during Trump Adin Ross stream. So I'm gonna watch.
Oh
that
yes,
later.
well yes, it was because
Like what was that about?
so he gifts Trump. He gifts Trump certain things.
Yeah.
For he's coming onto a stream. He has people in the back. And he sits down. He's like, I have a gift for you. And Trump's like, that's good. that's how he replied basically.
I got you a gift. Well, a couple gifts.
Oh, good. That's good.
But I did get you a gift, and I got you this gift because, look, you are, I feel like you constantly get beat on, but you're so strong, and you just, like I said, you live for the people, and you're a hero. I wanna present to you this gift right here. Hope you like watches, Rolexes.
Oh, that's a beautiful watch.
Yeah.
Should I open it?
You should open it, and then show the camera.
Can I show that to the audience?
Yeah, they can see it.
Those hats are so fucking stupid looking.
The what?
The hats, they're also just stupid
They
looking.
are.
Yeah. He always looks like he's confused.
I mean, you can say the same thing about Biden, to be honest.
Oh, did he give him a Cybertruck?
He gave him a Tesla truck, but with a whole.
It's like a Make America. It's like a wrapped. Yeah.
Yeah.
Know your honest thoughts.
I think it's incredible. I think it's incredible.
Go to the front.
So you know what they did? AI. What Google did is they took, or they let it happen. See the Secret Service agents here?
Yeah.
They're angry in there. They put smiles on their face.
Right.
XQC right there. I don't know why.
Who's that? Where's XQC?
They put smiles on their face. Right.
He's there.
Right there, white shirt.
Oh.
Why?
Is XQC like a
No,
right wing guy
He's
too?
a
I thought he was
he's
just like a video
Swedish,
game
like,
streamer.
liberal.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
a Swedish liberal. I don't know why he's there. Maybe because Kick made a deal. Anyways, back to the podcast. The man gives him a fucking Rolex, a brand new Rolex.
So you give him a Cybertruck and a Rolex?
Hold up. He gave him a Rolex, and then he came out. I was like, oh, blah blah. They did the stream. He's like, what do you think? They did a session. He's like, I want you to say one word. What comes to mind when these people pops up? This person, that person, Trump, Biden, pops up AOC, pops up and then they're like, okay, after 7 minutes of the stupidest fucking segment, they're like, I have one more gift for you before we go, and walks out. There's a fucking Tesla truck.
Yeah, the Cybertruck.
Right? The
yeah.
Cybertruck. And the Cybertruck is wrapped
Yeah, it's like has a goofy wrap on it that
with
says Make
his
America Great
with his
Again.
Make America Great Again, but with his like moment where after he
Oh,
got
the
shot.
assassination attempt.
Yeah.
Fist pump. Yeah.
With a fist bump. Here is the problem. All right, whatever. Somebody got a gift. You gave over the $3,000 limit of a gift to a politician, which is illegal.
Yeah, wasn't a Cybertruck like $80,000?
It's like $100,000 plus the
Yeah.
Rolex was probably like $5,000, $10,000.
Yeah, at least 10, I think. Like
yeah.
any Rolex.
So
yeah.
he gave him a $110,000 gift, which is illegal.
Yeah.
Now, is the IRS going to go after this?
No.
Or any other? But live stream gives a politician running for president an unfathomable amount of money, which is literally illegal. It is a crime.
Yeah.
That was documented live.
Is it a crime to give it or is it a crime to accept it or both?
It's a crime to give it. I don't know whether that's two separate things, but I know if you're giving that much of value to a politician, then I'm pretty sure the person that is giving the gift is in trouble for
Yeah,
attempted
$3,300 is the limit. The campaign regulation. I'm looking this up now. Campaign regulation. It's $3,300. Yeah, the Rolex alone is over $30,000.
The Rolex alone owes over $30,000.
Yeah, and a basic Cybertruck is the basic Cybertruck is 61. This is
Plus
obviously
the wrap. The wrap was
So
probably
yeah,
like
it's well
10
over
grand.
$100K. Yeah. So with just the base version of that Rolex and the Cybertruck alone, he's at 90 something K.
And
so
it
yeah.
wasn't to a pack. It wasn't to any
It was
type
a direct
of fun.
hand-to-hand
It was
gift.
directly hand to hand, which is literally illegal.
Yeah,
Like,
so
this guy should
according
be
to federal
arrested.
election campaign regulations, people can only provide a maximum contribution of $3,300 to a campaign, and gifts are included in that limit. So yeah, he violated campaign finance regulations and laws.
That is a literal crime.
Yeah.
This guy should be arrested and apprehended. Absolutely crazy. What?
Yeah, pretty wild. I had never heard of Adin Ross. I don't think I'm online enough. I don't really watch many Twitch streamers or streams in
It's a
general.
whole alpha beta like male
yeah, one of those
bullshit.
guys. Yeah.
His,
Okay.
His whole
I watched,
audience is young kids, man, like 15, 16.
I watched a couple Twitch streamers. But when I watched, if we open my Twitch right now, like the number one thing will be it's a 24-hour live stream of otters swimming in a zoo. And I like to put that on. I'd like to mute that and then play that and mute that and then put on lo-fi chill music, and my students study to that because it's just otters swimming.
Your fucking grandpa did.
Listen, bud. Listen, buddy. Listen here, bud. Yeah, I think I have Twitch, but yeah, if we go to Twitch,
let's see this otter stream.
Fucking, where's my otters? Yeah, there it is, buddy. It's fucking 24/7.
Marine Mammal Rescue. It's just
it's just otters, dude. It's just fucking otters.
So you're playing Twitch at work?
Yeah, well, I'll project this, and it's just like otters playing in the water, and then I'll put like over my Spotify.
Lo-fi.
I'll put like a lo-fi playlist, and then it's like a study hall thing.
Yeah, what a fucking Gen Z fucking classroom, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I have watched some of these like gamer live streams like in class, and I've like donated to like the streamers, or like given my Prime subscription to streamers, and like put a message from my class to these Twitch streamers. But like,
the only thing I've ever like watched in classroom is fucking Bill Nye the Science Guy and the occasional science video.
No, my class is pretty.
Dude, that shit was fire when it came in.
Yeah,
you knew that the fucking teacher was hungover as shit when she brings in the TV.
Yeah, that's really what I mean.
Holding her head.
Your teachers are hungover a lot more than you think they are. It's not just when they play a video, but I was threatening to play like the Schoolhouse Rock shit for my kids from like the 70s, you know, like the I'm just a Bill. Maybe that's, I don't know. It's from this. They're like these old cartoons that are like how a bill gets made and stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
I think I've seen that a long time ago.
Yeah. I was threatening my kids. I showed them a clip of it, but man, that shit is hella dated. That's like 70s or whatever. Yeah, or maybe 80s. I'm not really sure. Anyway, Vance is getting ridiculed in the dude. Yeah, I've seen so many things of Vance, like a lot of like op-eds and a lot of articles saying how much of a drag on the ticket Vance is, of like how like it's not unclear, or excuse me, it's not clear whether Trump is going to dump him or not. Like they're going to drop Vance from the ticket. Yeah.
Can you really? Like that just seems like
there's no law against it. There's no rule against it, but it would be.
But I'm just saying like
it would be very bad optics. Like it would. I think it would just pretty much. That'd be a message that's telegraphing to the American people that like our campaign is floundering. We don't really know what we're doing. We're a bunch of clowns. I don't think they will, but I think like there's like some reports, like unconfirmed reports.
There's one thing that they could do.
Yeah.
Is they could have Vance say, "I'm stepping down. I don't think I'm ready yet.
I'm not the guy.
I don't think I'm ready for such a role. I've only been in politics for 2 years.
Yeah.
Give me some time to mature and develop. I don't think this is for me right now."
Yeah, because there's just like anytime he opens his mouth, it's just like weird, like shit. He's like he's making a bunch of gaffes. He's just alienating a bunch of people. He's just said so much weird shit about like the cat ladies. How like if you don't have children or families with parents,
should have more votes.
Parents should get more power in their vote. If you have kids, if you don't have kids, you should have less voting power in America because you have like less. You're less invested in the future of America.
What a great bro.
And specifically, he was like talking about biological children. So like, what about people who have stepchildren? Like, you're alienating anybody that's a step parent. Like, I know that there are some step parents that are better than biological parents.
The Mormons must have like in crazy fucking.
They are the voting
power.
bloc, dude. Yeah, these like Mormon caucuses that control like half of the U.S. Congress. Yeah.
Jeremiah walks in, Bob, 1 vote. Jeremiah walks in, 55 votes. It's like, how the hell did you do that?
Yeah, that.
I have 15 wives and 75 children.
Kids. And he just keeps saying weird shit. And there's the whole Mountain Dew fiasco I saw of like him like talking about the Diet Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Like he's just weird and like uncomfortable to watch. He's a charisma black hole. It's the same problem with all these fucking freaks and all these weirdos. Is like DeSantis had the same problem. Is anytime he opens his mouth, he's just a charismatic like black hole. Like
I think DeSantis
zero riz, zero
been
charisma.
DeSantis would have been a better pick.
He's still a weirdo. Like
he is weird, but he has experience in politics.
Yeah, he's a veteran, experienced politician, sure, but he has no charisma. Like you can win in these local elections and like
but he still
Florida
has more charisma than like fucking Vance.
I guess more than Vance, sure, but not by much. Like Vance is just such a fucking weirdo, and it's just like he's just
Dude, he started talking about was it fucking couches?
Yeah, like fucking like so
Fucking
that this
dolphins?
is like a meme that came out of like supposedly he fucked a couch at some point, and so like there's just so many, and it's like the fact like what the point isn't that he whether or not he did. We're past that. That is no longer relevant.
Oh,
The point is that there is a national conversation. Like there was an AP article that said no, JD Vance didn't have sex with the couch, and it's like this is not like
What have we
this is
gotten
not
to?
fringe like Instagram meme shit on leftist pages. This is like national discourse whether or not the vice presidential nominee for the Republican Party fucked a couch, and that's like the level of discourse in America. And I'm like, this is we're such a fucking
dude.
joke. We're so cooked, dude.
We're so gone. When this country's this
And I'm
country
like,
went down such a bad fucking rabbit
This
hole.
is the shit we're talking about nowadays, and I fucking hate our country so much.
Yeah,
and I'm
man.
just God, and also like there's a more serious
Yeah.
level of advance of like every time he opens his mouth, he just says like weird lies. Like he's and like 20 minutes ago we were bashing on Tim Waltz, and it's like fine, but like JD Vance started like lying about and like. I don't really give a shit, but JD Vance is saying that like it's stolen valor because Tim Waltz said he was like in combat, and he's never been in combat, and he left his unit before they got deployed to Iraq or whatever. And it's like no, and he left his unit because he didn't want to fight in Iraq, so he abandoned his unit or whatever. And it's like none of this is true. Obviously, Tim Waltz was in the National Guard for like 25 years or 24 years or something.
Yeah.
He put in his retirement papers in 2004 or something, like late 2004, and then he got out of the National Guard. He did his time, more than his time. He was in for like a career National Guardsman. He wanted to run for Congress. So he put in his papers, and then he retired, and then he ran for Congress. And then his unit was deployed to Iraq after the fact. And so then it's like, oh, you left your unit before they went to Iraq. Like just when they needed you, you left them. And it's like, he didn't know they were going to Iraq. He fucking put in his papers the year before. They were deployed to Iraq in 2005. He put in his retirement papers in 2004. He didn't know they were going to Iraq. He like, so like, that's just a fake argument that's just like been circulating on like the whatever. Also, you know who also fucking didn't see combat in Iraq that claims they did? JD fucking Vance. He was a Marine in Iraq, but he was in the public relations department. He was a journalist. He never saw combat. And it's like, what are you fucking talking
the
about?
Public relations department.
Yeah, he was like a public relations
I
officer.
see shit,
Yeah,
so going
not
around, he's a
officer.
Marine or whatever. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
he was in the Marines, but he was in like the public relations
when
like,
dude
department.
was in
yeah.
the fucking office, just
yeah,
like typing.
he was a journalist. Yeah, he was essentially a journalist, like a war correspondent. He was in Iraq, so like I'm not taking that away from him. Like whatever, he was in Iraq, but he never saw combat. He never like I don't know. As far as I know, he didn't fire his weapon. But like you can't then say like that Tim Waltz is like some coward for like he was in the military for like literally 6 times the length you were.
But here's the
Yeah, and I don't give a shit. Like don't join the military. It's that's a grift. Like don't. But if you're gonna claim to be the military guy, don't, you know what I mean? It's a little hypocritical to say he's not the military guy when you also were like a punk in the military. It's like, what the fuck ever. I don't know. Who cares?
I don't know. To me, it's just like the amount of discourse. I think they're just trying to come up with anything.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they know they're fucked.
Yeah,
they know they're fucked.
The
with
polling
Vance.
now has, I think last I saw there was like Harris up 4 in a couple of polls. I think it's like Vance is legitimately dragging down the ticket, and that was pre the Waltz. And I think Waltz is like, to most Americans, he's just like a normal guy, and that's the new campaign of like the Democrats. Is just the whole weird campaign of they're just calling. Have you seen all the weird stuff? It's like they're just calling Republicans weird, and it's just like they're being weird. It's like they just want to talk about like they want to inspect your kids' genitals, and like all they talk about is kids' genitals.
I think it was
they're
a
just
good
fucking
move.
weird. Yeah, and
I think it's a good move instead of talking like cliches in politics.
Yeah, they're not like they're just saying they're weird, and then they're just ignoring them. And like
weird.
It's honestly it's working, and it is a pretty like
because
solid
weird.
marketing strategy because they're fucking
They
weirdos.
want to inspect your fucking kid's testicles before she or he
Like,
jumps in a pool, or they dump in a pool. It's
and
like,
if you don't believe us that they're weird, go online and make a left-wing comment in a public space, and then read your comments, or like go to a left-leaning person's, like a public person's, like go to Lady Izdahar and read her comments, and like tell me they're not
go
fucking
to our
weirdos.
comments.
Go to our
RFK
comments. Go to our RFK video from like a couple weeks ago and look at our comments and tell me they're not just weirdos. And like I don't want to hop on the they're just weird bandwagon because there's a lot more like materialist like conversation around it. It's not just the weird. There's a lot of nuance there that like as a Marxist we can like really drill down on. But yeah, for a surface level like marketing campaign, that's catchy and that's working. And like yeah, Vance is a fucking weirdo. Yeah, Trump's a weirdo. And by comparison, Waltz is like a normal guy. And to be fair, Harris is also kind of weird with her weird laugh, and she's also a weirdo. But Waltz, by
you think you fell from a coconut tree?
Waltz is like not a weirdo. He's a very like marketable. Like, he's very attractive to the average voter. Like, he has
Yeah.
a really strong record. He's just been doing his thing. He's like an everyman. He's kind of he really appeals to the working man. And I'm not saying I'm supporting him, but I'm saying like it was a good pick, optics wise.
Yes.
Like, he's a good looking.
Politically,
Like,
we're
if
saying
you when you
politically.
like put them two next to each other, Vance and Waltz, in like a debate or whatever, Vance is gonna get cooked because like he's a fucking little grubby
Dude, if you
weirdo.
put Vance by himself, he's gonna get cooked.
he'll flame, flame out. Yeah, it's just I don't know. Like,
You give that man a microphone, you're like, all right, what did he fuck next? Like,
Yeah,
what is the next?
by all accounts, like, yeah, it's just
Start
like
talking
Vance
about
is
koalas
really
and
hurting.
chlamydia, like what?
Yeah, it's just what a fucking weirdo. All right, let's move on. We've been doing this 50 minutes, but let's do this and then end with this.
Sure.
So the next up is another little mini fucking right wing ghoul. These weird right wing ghouls. Kyle Rittenhouse went on. I don't know if it was Twitter or if it was Truth. It was probably Twitter. And he said something
Rumble.
about like, "This is the man I'm voting for." Was it Rumble? I don't know. Whatever.
One of the fucking apps of the right wing
And he
conservative.
said like, "This is how somebody leads," or "This is who I'm voting for," and it wasn't Trump. And holy shit, did the right wing crowd like immediately turn on Kyle Rittenhouse. 6 months ago, Kyle Rittenhouse was their daughter. And if you're unfamiliar, Kyle Rittenhouse is that kid. He packed up an AR-15 and drove across state lines and murdered a handful of guys at a BLM protest. He like went hunting for leftists. And this is me saying this, like but you don't pack up a rifle, drive across state lines to protect like a Starbucks window or something. He went there because he thought there'd be an opportunity for him to like kill somebody in self-defense, which is what he did. He was defending a store or something, which is a weirdo thing to do. Like, why would you defend a store with a gun? Like, why would you kill somebody in defense of private property? He did. Somebody had a concealed carry weapon. If I'm misremembering the story from like 3 years ago, I apologize. Somebody had a concealed carry, try to take him down because they thought he was a shooter, because he was a mass shooter. He was a child, 18 or 19 years old, picked up an AR-15 and drove across state lines and started opening fire against BLM
I
protesters.
think he was even younger than that.
No, I think he
Was
had
he
to have been at least.
17?
No, I think he had to have been at least 18, but maybe I don't know. Point is he killed. I think he killed 2 people and he severely injured a third. He went to trial for all of these crimes. For his murders, he was found not guilty by a judge who had a "Make America Great Again" phone case throughout the entire trial. So
He was 17.
Not biased. He was 17. Wow. So it's a 17-year-old kid traveled across straight lines to kill people, and then he was acquitted of all charges, found not guilty by a MAGA judge, because the whole trial the judge had his "Make America Great Again" phone case out. So like that judge probably should have recused himself, but he didn't. Anyway, Kyle Rittenhouse then became like the darling of the right. He was on all the talk shows. He was traveling. He's gonna, he's probably gonna run for office one day. He was like, he had it made in the shade. And then all of a sudden he said he wasn't gonna vote for Trump, and they lost their minds. And then they called him a trans woman. They're like, they have like photos of him next to them. They just immediately turn on him. And it's just so funny how fast they turn on him.
Oh
He
my
lost
God.
50,000 followers in a day. Everyone is now calling him like a psyop, a CIA plant. He's a left-wing shill. He's always been left-wing. He was like an FBI plant to like divide the right wing.
No, y'all can
He's
have him.
trans. And it's
He's
like, dude, it's like they're fucking out of control, man.
Oh my God, I remember watching a video from Hassan Abi a couple days ago. He's like, oh my God, they're transvestigating Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
He's like, this is like the final stage of delusion where
Yeah.
like they're so like, it's so on their mind,
Because
all
they're
these transgender
weirdos and all
people
they
are
care
so
about
on
is
they're
people's genitals.
constantly just thinking about
Yeah.
transgender people, constantly like, dude, you're weird.
You're weird.
That's the thing, is like, you're weird. Who the fuck just constantly thinks about transgender people? Like, even if it's like, even if it's weird to you, or like you're not used to it yet, or you haven't been exposed to it, you're constantly thinking about it. And he's like, at this point is when you come to the delusion of you're constantly thinking everybody is transgender. That
Yeah.
cashier, oh God, that person had that. Do you see that Adam's
Yeah.
apple? Sorry, like that.
It's just deranged paranoia.
It is.
It's just weird. And then we saw this with Kyle Rittenhouse on a smaller scale, because that was less popular among like mainstream news, because only like people that are terminally online kind of followed the whole Kyle Rittenhouse transvestigated drama. Kyle Rittenhouse is not trans. He's just fucking a child. He's now maybe 19 years old now. Maybe he's 20. I'm not really sure. But like,
He's 21.
maybe was that 4 years ago?
I think it was
Wow.
4 years ago,
Okay. Wow.
2020.
Yeah, it's 2020. I guess. Yeah, it was 4 years ago. So anyway, he's a baby who just says shit online because he's a baby who says shit online, and whatever. You should put the photo of Kyle Rittenhouse crying and the blubbering. You know what I'm talking about? Where he was just blubbering, and because he was a child. Anyway, and this is also so like this whole anti-trans and this like trans red scare, kind of like this pink scare, whatever you want to call it, that like the Republicans are doing, has never been more evident. In addition to this Kyle Rittenhouse thing with the Algerian boxer, I'm gonna pull up her name. I forget her name. It's
Khalef.
Esmani Khalef, I think is her name. I'm going off of memory. Let me pull up her actual name, and it is Imani Khalef.
Imani Khalef.
Imani Khalef. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So she's a female, a cis woman, a biological female boxer from Algeria. Being trans is illegal in Algeria. There are photos of her when she was a child. She's a fucking woman. But J.K. Rowling has something to say about. There's a photo of. Okay. Let me back up a second. Armani Khalif is a Algerian boxer. She's an Olympic boxer. She went to the Olympics in 2024. She was in the Olympics in 2020, as I understand correctly. And she fought an Italian boxer, Cardimi, I want to say her name is. This is all going off of memory again.
Yeah.
And the fight lasted 46 seconds with the Italian boxer, who was friends with the fascist prime minister and who was also a cop. Mm-hmm. So, there's a lot of jokes about like, it's not that great when people can hit you back, right? So she, after 46 seconds, she quit the fight. The Italian boxer, the Algerian won, and the Italian boxer was crying and said she's never been hit that hard in her life. And so like, there's a photo of like the Algerian boxer winning in the ring and the Italian lady crying. And then J.K. Rowling had tweeted that photo saying like nothing has summed up like the misogynist, like our misogynist present more so than a man beating a woman and like the world cheering or something. And then this whole rumor got started that Imani Khalif is trans. We don't know why people think that. Well, I do know because they're Islamophobic and because they're racist, because a brown woman who's Muslim beat a Western white woman in a sport of skill where you're supposed to hit people hard. She hit her too hard and everyone lost their mind. And so
mind you, this is where, to me, like the hypocrisy all starts. Because you have this woman, a cisgendered woman. She was born female, right? And she has, their claim is she has high levels of testosterone.
Yeah, which may or may not be true, but like,
even if it is,
that's irrelevant. Yeah.
Then Shaquille O'Neal or whoever, or LeBron James should not be playing.
Or Michael Phelps. Like, so the argument that I've seen that like it really like highlights this is Michael Phelps is seen as like one of the most like
iconic,
biologically unique athletes of all time.
Yes.
His body produces half the lactic acid that a normal person's body produces. So and if you don't know what that means, is like if you've ever gotten like pump from like so say you've like done like bicep curls or what do you call it? Bench press, whatever. Whenever your legs burn, if you've ever ridden your bike or gone on a run, you know that burning sensation with your muscles, like feel the burn. That's lactic acid burning in your muscles, and that's what builds muscle.
And then when you wake up the next day and you're
absolutely
sore, you can't
move.
That's
because of your lactic acid. So if you produce very little of that, you can essentially just
keep working out.
You can just keep working out. You can just do reps forever with that. You're like biologically a freak because you can just keep working out. That's how Michael Phelps' body. That's why he has the most gold medals in Olympic history. That's why he's the most decorated athlete of all time, or one of the most decorated athletes of all time, and he surely will continue to do so because he has a biological advantage. So like if Imani Khalif's body produces a little bit more testosterone than the average female, who gives a shit? If we're going to go after that, why aren't we disqualifying Michael Phelps? He is cheating if you want to go by those rules. By your logic, he's cheating because his body produces half of the inhibitor that other people's produce. So therefore it's patently unfair that he fights somebody who produces twice the lactic acid he does.
But wait, with all the testosterone, it's causing her to have really wide shoulders and the strength of a man.
Yeah. Also untrue. If you look at her compared to like all of the other boxers, she has the same frame and figure as they do. She's in the same weight class as they are.
She's lost 5 times.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Is like she didn't even qualify in the 2020 Olympics because she just lost. She's like has not that great of a boxing record. She just happened to beat a white woman, and so the world lost their mind because a brown woman isn't allowed to beat a white woman, and like that's the end of the story.
But wait. You're telling me that this woman, you're trying to convince me that that's not a man? Whoa, they're starting to grip a little bit of what, gender is not really something of sex.
Yeah.
You can look like something.
Yeah, they stumble across that argument all the time accidentally.
You're almost there, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You're almost there. Like,
well,
you're so close.
Well, Joe Rogan takes testosterone. So like people are saying like that's gender affirming care.
He also takes growth hormone.
Yeah. So like Joe Rogan is like
that's why his stomach looks
by
like
their
that.
own logic he's like trans. He's not, obviously. He's just taking whatever. So like, I don't know. This whole argument is so dumb. And fuck J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling is absolute like transphobic monster. She's like spreading actual hateful.
Yes.
This is getting actual hateful people.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, actual trans people hurt. The reason there are like hate crimes and lynchings against like trans people are because of people like J.K. Rowling directly. I'm not saying like superficially. I'm calling out J.K. Rowling directly is the result that people get hurt. J.K. Rowling has hurt people with her, physically hurt people with her words, because people get all amped up and then they want to go hang or like beat trans people to death, which happens all the time in America, and that's because of people like J.K. Rowling making up shit like this. And Monica Leaf has come out and said like this has been a really hard time for her. She's getting like death threats. She's just a female boxer that wanted to go to the Olympics.
Poor
Like,
woman.
it's just like calling Simone Biles a man because she won a lot. It's like why would you? Like, women can win things too, guys. Women of color can also win things, and that's okay. And like, this has been really frustrating for me because I've had people like that I like that are vaguely leftist or like liberals also be like, well, I don't know, man, it probably shouldn't be like, if she's like she trans, we should investigate it more or whatever. And it's like, no, dude, you're falling into the transphobic trap. And I guess a lot of this stems from because there's one I think it's a Turkish or Russian boxing organization disqualified her in the past, or says she should be disqualified, but that organization has been banned from the Olympics from like for their previous like shady practices or whatever. And that's where a lot of the people are citing this organization says she should be disqualified, but that organization itself has been disqualified.
Not to
so
mention,
like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Not to mention that that in the Olympics right now there is an athlete that has literally been convicted of raping a 12-year-old.
Yes, there's I think he's Swedish maybe or Danish. There's a Scandinavian.
I think he's Danish.
Yeah, I think he's a runner. I forget what his sport is.
I can't remember, but
doesn't matter. But he did. It's like, yeah, this isn't supposition. He fucking is convicted. He's a child rapist. He raped a 12-year-old, got convicted, and is now in the Olympics, and nobody said a goddamn word about this.
But
a Muslim woman of color punches a white woman a little too hard, and the world loses their mind. And this is just blatant racism, and it's just blatant Islamophobia. So that's really all there is to it. There is not a story here. This is a non-story. It's just another random Olympic sport where a Algerian athlete won. That's all it should have ever been. And then even the Turkish boxer that was to fight after the Italian boxer, there was a Turkish woman who was going to fight the Algerian boxer in the next bout, like the next round of whatever. And she posted a bunch of like transphobic shit to her Instagram of like a photo of like, it's like the Beauty and the Beast in a boxing ring of like her and then like this beast like alluding to Monica Leaf. If you see them side by side, they're the same fucking size. So like it's just transphobic shit. And like so like she and her like I assume it's her people on her like PR team or whatever rolled with it and started like leaning into that like Beauty and the Beast type thing. And it's like, you guys are the same size. Like whatever. I don't know. It's just frustrating to deal with this shit constantly and like see this shit, not deal with it, excuse me, to see it constantly. And then to see like normally kind of like normal people also buy into this like transphobic like kind of bullshit. Like, I don't know, whatever. I think we've talked about it enough, but
yeah.
If you haven't, shout out to her. I think she ended up getting a bronze. She lost or something in one of her matches. So she got bronze and after all.
Yeah, she's iconic though.
Yeah, so so like whatever, you got bronze at the Olympics, fucking great job. It's more than I could do.
Yeah, I can't even get into the Olympics.
Yeah,
shit, I probably barely get into the seat over there.
Yeah.
All right, I do want to say one last thing.
What do you got, bud?
We are still waiting for that imminent attack from Iran on Israel. They said that they would conduct it.
Yeah,
they would conduct an attack of some sort in retaliation. Still waiting.
Growing tensions in the region.
Growing tensions.
There was a report I read today that said like Israel is like stockpiling blood for like blood banks. They're like making sure all of their shelters have food and water. Like apparently the country, as a country, they're nervous. Like they are preparing for the worst, I guess. Which is like maybe they have maybe the Israeli intelligence agency has news of some kind of impending attack. I was reading an article today, a different article that was kind of, I was trying to understand more about like Iran's alliances and network, and they have kind of formed a pseudo loose coalition. I don't think it's like super like not professional, like organized as such, but like all of the different groups that Iran and the Revolutionary Guard is kind of backing. So there's obviously Hezbollah, there's the Revolutionary Guard. They've given a lot of I forget what they're called, something group. It's an Iraqi it's an Iraqi militia that has
it's a Shia.
Yeah,
Iraqi
and they
militia.
apparently have like 180,000 I guess, like people at the ready. This Iraqi group.
Iraq has a large population. It's like
and
30-something
and
million
Iran
people.
has given a bunch of like weapons and money to them. they're
just
funding
for
the
context?
Houthis in Yemen, the Revolutionary Guard, the Hezbollah, the Houthis, this Iraqi group, and then also there's 2 different groups in Palestine that they're funding Hamas, obviously, or like they're giving money to the Hamas, and there was another, I forget the other names. So like Iran has like kind of this network of like this coalition of like these different militias, basically,
Yeah.
that is like kind of all under this umbrella of being funded, and they're all kind of loosely allied. Even though there are some Sunnis and some Shias, Muslims.
Yeah.
I guess like Iran has like that was kind of a big deal that Iran kind of put aside its religious differences
yeah.
to fund the Palestinian Sunnis because they're Shias or vice versa. I can't remember which was which. Yeah.
Hamas is Sunni.
Yeah.
Hezbollah Shia. The Houthis are Shia.
Well, the Yemeni Houthis are like a different sect that is that is only practiced in Yemen. Yeah,
Shazari.
something.
I can't remember.
I was reading a little bit about that. I guess it's unique to just
Yes.
Yemeni Muslims.
Correct.
So I was curious to learn more about that.
But I want to add a little bit of context with the whole Iraqi militia.
Yeah.
You have to understand that before you think, oh, they're just handing money to like these terror. How do we know they're not terrorist organizations? They're not terrorist group. Well, actually, the majority of the defeats that happened to ISIS came from the Kurds.
Yeah.
2, militias in Iraq that Iran literally provided weapons and equipment to. And those 2 groups are the ones that defeated ISIS. So before you say, how do I know it's not some Islamic terror group? These groups that were provided the weapons and equipment were the groups that literally defeated the terror group. So don't come at me with that bullshit.
The Popular Mobilization Group is what they're called. The Hajj al-Shabi. That's the big, like I think it's one of the bigger Iraqi kind of militias or
there's a
little
whole
armies, yeah.
there's a whole video called the Iraqi Rambo you should
Yeah.
check out.
Okay, I'll
It's
check it
just-
out. Yeah. And also like these aren't I push back on just the notion that because they're brown in the Middle East that they're terrorists, right? Like they may be fighting imperial forces, they may be anti-imperialist, they may be I mean whatever. Just because they're brown in the Middle East doesn't make them terrorists. So like check yourself, because that's what I'm seeing that a lot too. Is like, oh, how do we know this money isn't going to terrorist organizations? It's like, well, how do you know that?
Any money is not going to terrorists.
Yeah, I mean like any money,
Jesus Christ.
like UNICEF or whatever, like a lot of that money gets funneled off to like NATO or whatever. So it's like that's a terrorist organization. So like who cares? Fuck off. Shut up. Just give them your money. Anyway,
Give me the money, you bitch.
Want to end it there? That was a weird place to end, but
The
yeah.
fuck's your money?
Where
is it?
You
Put
heard
the
it here.
money.
You heard it here first. Tyler is pro Middle Eastern terror.
No, hey, whoa. I believe in that fucking shit.
Yeah, I am pro. Well, we were on record as like supporting anyone that supports their own, anyone that fights their own oppression is fine. So like if Hamas is fighting their own oppression, then I'm gonna support their cause, right? Like
Yes, but that doesn't mean they're considered a terrorist.
yeah, but I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Like I don't consider them terrorists, but West like but they're pushing back against their oppressors. They're considered so like one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. So like they're just freedom fighters. I'm on that side. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just saying the wording. I agree with you.
Oh sure, yeah.
I'm
You
just
mean
saying
like
the
the
wording.
actual wording terrorist? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
No.
just worried. People can take that shit out of context.
Yeah, just because you have an AK-47 and you're in the Middle East doesn't make you a terrorist. So
Dude,
that
everybody
was
in the
all.
Middle East has a fucking AK-47.
Well, that's my point. It's just because you're armed, you have a green headband, and you're armed in the Middle East doesn't make you a terrorist. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a weird multi-hit. We went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
kinda like
8
that.
stories. Yeah,
kinda like
eight
that. That's fun.
rapid fire kind of things. There's a lot more next week. I'm gonna have a nice little prepared kind of segment about the 1968 Democratic National Convention, where LBJ decided not to rerun, and it kind of caused an absolute fucking shit show. This year has been compared to that year for a lot of reasons. There was the rioting and the Chicago riots that happened that year because of that at the DNC, where the anti-Vietnam War protests broke out. Anyway, I'll have a whole report about that. We'll half the episode will be based on that, and then we'll do some news. And then the day after that episode's released, will be the Democratic National Convention. So we'll talk about that the following
Nice.
week.
And then maybe the week after that, we might have another group of podcasters up, but we won't say their names.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's been a while since we've had some guests. We gotta maybe do that again. Anyway, follow us on our social medias: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Revolutionary Rhetoric Podcast, everywhere. Twitter. I don't know why I said it that way. Harry Potter. You're a wizard, Harry. That's a real bummer about J.K. Rowling, dude, because like I genuinely liked Harry Potter when I was a kid, and like
Yeah.
I would like to I would like to like it again, because there's a new Harry Potter show coming to HBO. They're just remaking the original Harry Potter again.
Really?
Yeah, HBO I guess is producing the Harry Potter books, the original 7 book series as a mini series. Like each,
Interesting.
yeah, it's like a like a Band of Brothers type thing, whatever. So I'm like, I would like to watch that, but I'm not gonna because it's fucking, it supports. Well, for a lot of reasons, but it doesn't matter.
She'll make money.
She'll make money off of it. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Follow us on. Oh no, we don't have an OnlyFans.
What? No, we don't. Shit.
Give us a subscribe, like, share, leave a comment on our YouTube videos. If you're watching this on YouTube, we do have an audio version of this. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast: Spotify, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, Apple Podcasts. If you're listening to this on the audio version, we do have a YouTube channel where these full videos are released, as well as some of these different segments are released out. Get down in the comments. Have fun, man, with those weird.
Tell me how
freaks.
ugly I look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us how we don't know anything.
Please.
That's okay. We do have a Patreon, Revolutionary Rhetoric Podcast. Half of all of the money we get goes to it's the PCRF. It's a Palestine Children's Relief Fund. It gives food and relief to the children of Palestine. The link for that charity, if you want to donate directly to them and want to skip our Patreon, and you can still donate to them directly, the link will be in the video description as well as the audio description of the podcast. Email us, revolutionaryrhetoric@gmail.com. And as always, Revolutionary Rhetoric is an affiliate of the Anti-Capitalist Podcast Network. So go ahead and give those guys a follow. The links will be in the description as well. Oh, and join our Discord. We have a Discord. We're not in there a whole lot. It's kind of underdeveloped. And if you're listening and you're in there, sorry that we're not in there much. But for what it's worth, you can ping us and we'll answer you. We'll talk to you.
Say anything. I always reply.
Yeah, we'll reply. We just don't have a whole lot to say.
Critically online, as they say.
Clinically?
Clinically.
Yeah, I'm
Critically.
not, but I do have Discord notifications on my phone for that server. So if you do say something, I see it. So if you want to hop in there and chat, we're not unreachable. We want to talk to people. Email us. Fuck it. Talk to us, man. We're here. We're around.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. Anything else you want to add?
No. That was great.
Okay.
I love it.
That was a good episode. Bye.
Bye. Fuck RFK.